guys, welcome back to Frances Quilts. Well, today's going to be pretty fast and furious. There's a lot of crazy things going on in my life, including a leak in my crawl space, so that's not fun. But anyway, we're going to take a break from the mandala quilts for just a week or two. We'll come back to them very soon, I promise. But today I want to introduce you to a quilter named Carly Porter. Now, she is known for a style of quilting called graffiti quilting. Have you seen this book before? It is a wonderful book and it has so many good ideas. Basically what she does is she takes individual designs such as these, and then she just puts them all together so it makes this one big overall pattern. So one Sunday morning I had some time and I thought I'm going to just spend 1 hour sitting at my machine and trying this out. I had done a drawing on my iPad and had come up with just some ideas of things that I might want to try. And so I just started using those ideas and started playing with it at the machine. It was so relaxing and so much fun. And I just want to show it to you, walk you through a few of the things, and see if this might be something that you're interested in too. When I first started quilting, I did what she suggested in the book, which was to start with a swirl. Typically, I'm not great at swirls, but this one seemed to do okay. Then I just tried adding some other little things to it. They were sort of feathers, sort of not feathers, but they seemed to look okay, so that was good. And we'll speed this up in a minute so you don't have to watch every little stitch. So then just a little bit of echoing, because that's one of the things that she says you can use to fill in areas, and that sometimes that echoing will help just to separate the designs from one another. That's one of my only problems with this, is I feel like all the designs kind of get meshed in together and you kind of lose them a little bit. So when I can't think of anything else to do, I just do a little more echoing. You see, I have to keep stopping after each one and thinking, okay, now what am I going to do next? Almost all of her designs have an arrow in them somewhere, and so I decided early on I needed to put an arrow. Her suggestion here was that you just start in the center of your piece and you just keep building out and out and out. So that's what I did as well. Stop and think, stop and think. Look at my picture that I'd drawn and then go again. And a lot of these are just basic free motion quilting designs. They are the designs that we all talk about when we're doing them, the leaves and paisleys and all sorts of things. One of her big things is that if you do a paisley like I'm doing here, you don't leave it there, you then add something into it. So we speed it up here now. And you see I'm adding just some other stitches into that, the last one of the echo points there. Go around a little bit further, and what are we going to add here? Oh, let's put a great big leaf in there. Echo inside it to fill it in a little bit, and add a stem and some other little veins to it. This is one of the designs that I really like that she suggests. I think it is so stylized and so much fun, and interestingly very easy to actually quilt. I like adding some straight lines into the circles that I've done. So another elongated curve coming back around. And a lot of this is stuff that I've learned from Angela Walters in her videos. I really do like the idea of adding a little bit of interest to each one of the designs by just putting some other little something in there. As you can see, I've progressed and done a lot more, and I'm speeding it up here greatly. Just adding different things. One thing I loved with this piece is I started out doing one thing, and then when I got to the around the corner, I decided, okay, this is taking way too long, so let's do something easier. So this is what I did. And I found it easy if I went down one direction and then came back the other and split the difference in those lines. It was an easy way to make this particular design work. Again, this was so relaxing to do. Stop and think, look at my drawing a little bit more, and then go again. And a lot of times when I can't think of something to do, I just echo or follow the thing I've done previously. Now this was one of my favorite designs that I did during the day. I actually found it when I was drawing. I just ended up with this design and I thought I really did like it. So I started out with the center to a flower. Now I'm adding some petals to it. You can see they are not symmetrical, they are not all even, they're not all going the same direction, they're kind of all over the place. And then this was the fun part. Just going in and adding just some scribbly sort of stitching around the top of them. And then because I liked it, I added some more. And you can see it's grown quite a bit here. And at this point was when I decided that I was going to try a bigger version of it. So I just started out in the same way, doing the swirl in the middle there, and then just started building. Now you're going to laugh when you see this because I'm doing an arrow here. But because I'm doing it backwards, I end up not doing an arrow, instead end up with a triangle there. So let's just fill in and see if we can turn this into something else. So I switched there from E's and L's to just doing petals, flower petals. Just, again, having fun, being relaxed, trying different things, trying to hide that arrow that did not work. So now let's do some bigger of these skyscraper-y looking things. Again, those are so much fun to do. Come around to the other side and finish it off. Kind of tying it into that original swirl that I had done. Now how about a paisley or two? Maybe this one needs to be filled with pebbles, big pebbles. Again, with most of the designs, I'm trying to come up with some filler that I can add to them to make them a little bit more interesting. I love how I tap my fingers when I'm thinking. These are sort of feathers and sort of not feathers.
A lot of time that echoing was just done to get me to another area. And now I actually did an actual arrow that worked. I also like these little clamshell looking designs. I think those were a lot of fun to do, and I felt like they added a lot to the design. When I needed to get back to another area, I just overstitched the area before or echoed it. And these were fun just doing clamshells, just free hand, free motion clamshells. Not something I have tried very much, and so didn't know if it was going to work, but I was very pleased with how they worked. And once you get the hang of them and you get them started, they're easy to do. I love how I tap my fingers there when I'm trying to figure something out. Didn't realize I was doing it until I actually started watching the video. So just a couple of paisleys in here. I really think the excitement in this comes when you are mixing the curved lines with the straight lines. I think the trick here is going to be studying the various shapes and designs that she uses in her book and just trying to emulate those and then make up some of my own, like that one flower that I did that I like so well. Now at this point I am about out of thread and about out of time. It's time to go to church, so I'm just finishing up something around here, just adding a few more little curves in there and curls. And yes, I was out of thread at this point. So here is the larger piece that I did.
Like I said, I spent about an hour doing this quilting, and it was just the best thing in the world to do. Very therapeutic. And honestly, I kind of like the bigger version as well or better than I do the smaller version. The reason is simple. That small version is going to be perfect in a small area on a quilt, but I'm not going to want to quilt that densely over an entire quilt. But when I open it up and make those pieces, those designs bigger, that could be a wonderful way to finish off a quilt. I have a couple of charity quilts in my hands right now, and I'm going to try it on them, and you'll be seeing more about it. Well, that's it for today. Please come back next Friday for Free Motion Friday, and we will have some other information about free motion quilting, whether it's a mandala or some other design or something. I'll be here. I hope you will too. Thanks for joining me today, and as always, I look forward to seeing you next time on Frances Quilts.
Remember, if you like what you've seen, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please check out my website and daily blog at francesquilts.com, and I can be found on Facebook and Instagram at Frances Quilts. Thanks so much for joining me. Hope to see you again soon.